No one expects betrayal to arrive in a crisp envelope with a company logo. Robert Turner read the sentence twice, then a third time, his fingers pressing into the paper as if the words might rearrange themselves. The letter confirmed his whole life policy had been surrendered and the cash value paid out, with his signature on the form.
That signature. I never signed this.
His own name stared back at him in handwriting that was close, but not his own.
Only one person had access to that policy. Only one.
The truth settled in his chest like a stone. His son had stolen from him, but Robert didn't shout. He didn't cry. He just reached for the phone.
Andrew, what have you done?
He would get answers. But first, he needed to hear Andrew's voice. Robert's finger trembled once as he dialed, then went steady. The line rang, once, twice.
Dad, why now? Andrew stared at the screen, thumb hovering over decline before swiping to answer. Dad, everything okay?
You tell me, Andrew.
What's that supposed to mean?
I got a letter today from the insurance office. They thanked me for cashing out my policy, except I never did.
That's a misunderstanding. Look, I can explain, just not like this.
Not over the phone. My study, tomorrow, noon.
Fine, noon.
Robert set the receiver down and stared at the letter again. Andrew would come, and tomorrow, there would be nowhere left to hide. Andrew arrived 5 minutes early, his footsteps dragging on the pavement. He paused at the front door, took a breath that did nothing to steady him, and knocked. The sound was small against the silence of the house.
Just get it over with.
Andrew.
Robert turned and walked to his study. He didn't offer coffee. He simply sat behind his desk and waited for Andrew to take the chair opposite.
I'll get straight to it. I received a letter. You want to tell me about it?
He lifted the envelope and slid it across the polished wood.
Dad, I don't know what you were talking about.
Then, open it. Look at my signature. Look at it and tell me it's mine.
He knows. All right, yes, I signed it. I needed the cash, Dad. There were debts. The bank was calling every day. I meant to put it back, I swear. I didn't know what else to do.
You meant to put it back. With what job? With what savings, Andrew?
I've got a promotion coming. That money was just sitting there, doing nothing. You are 70 years old, Dad. What were you even going to use it for?
It wasn't yours to decide.
Robert leaned back, his knuckles white on the armrest. The question he'd been holding finally surfaced.
Did you ever think about Liam and Emma? Your own children?
Andrew's gaze fell to the floor. The retort he'd prepared died in his throat.
You didn't think about them at all.
Then, Robert's voice changed. Not angry, but colder than any shout.
There's something you don't know, Andrew. When you find out, you'll understand exactly what you've done.
Robert stood, walked to the window, and didn't turn around. The words settled like frost. Andrew remained in the chair, a cold fear replacing the guilt. By dawn, the letter still lay open. Robert hadn't slept. He sat motionless, his mind pulling up a memory he'd kept locked away.
He'd been borrowing since he was 22. 100 here, a car repair there. Never paid back.
8 years ago, Robert had walked into a different insurance office, sat across from a broker, and opened a second policy. No one else was told. The beneficiaries, Liam and Emma, his grandchildren. Not Andrew. Not even his name on the paperwork. He'd watched Andrew treat family money like an open wallet. So Robert built a silent wall around what mattered most. The second policy's papers lived in a fireproof safe. Behind the shelf of ledgers, premiums paid automatically from a separate account. Andrew never knew. He'd never thought to ask.
He took the wrong policy. He didn't even know what he was stealing.
Robert's gaze settled on the photograph of Liam and Emma.
You will be protected, no matter what he does.
An hour later, the coffee on his desk had gone cold. Robert picked up the phone once more.
I need to speak with someone in the fraud department. It's about a policy surrender I didn't authorize.
Senior Investigator Claire Harrison speaking. I understand there's a dispute?
Not a dispute. A forgery. Someone surrendered my whole life policy and signed my name. I never touched that document.
That's a serious allegation, Mr. Turner. Do you have the surrender paperwork with you?
I have the confirmation letter. The signature isn't mine. It's not even close.
Claire pulled up the policy on her screen, her expression hardening.
I'll need to see the letter and a sample of your genuine signature. Can you come to our office this afternoon?
Robert agreed. The appointment was set for 2 p.m. The machinery of investigation had begun to turn. Andrew had no idea the ground was already shifting under his feet. But Robert felt the first cold certainty. He would not protect his son from this. Later that afternoon, Robert's phone lit up with Andrew's name. He stared at the screen for 3 full rings before answering.
Dad, I've been thinking. Yesterday got heated. I shouldn't have said some of that. Let's put it behind us.
Put it behind us. You stole from me, Andrew. You forged my name. What exactly should I put behind me?
I told you, I'll pay it back. Every cent. The promotion's coming through. I just need 6 months. Maybe a year.
You said the bank was calling. Now it's a promotion. The story keeps changing. Andrew,
Why are you making this impossible? I am your son. Don't I get a second chance?
you've had years of second chances. Every loan you never repaid was a chance.
Fine. Keep your secrets, old man. But don't pretend you care about this family.
The line went dead. Andrew had hung up. Robert set the receiver down with a soft click, his jaw tight.
He still doesn't understand. He's still trying to manage me.
At exactly 2 o'clock, Robert pushed open the glass doors of the insurance claims office. The envelope in his hand felt heavier than paper.
Mr. Turner, I've examined the surrender form and your genuine signature. The comparison is conclusive.
She laid 2 sheets side by side. The tremble in the forgery was visible even at arm's length.
So it's fraud. What happens now?
The insurer will return the cash value to you, but the company is obligated to notify law enforcement.
Robert felt the word police lodge in his chest. He pictured Andrew's face, then Liam and Emma's.
He'll blame me. He'll say I destroyed him. But he did this.
Do you wish to file the formal complaint? Once it's signed, there's no withdrawing.
Robert uncapped the pen. The nib hovered for a beat, then pressed down. The signature was his, sharp and certain. The complaint was official. Andrew Turner was now a suspect in a criminal investigation, and he had no idea. He didn't go home. Robert drove to a quiet street and let himself into a small house with a spare key. The house smelled of crayons and laundry. Through the kitchen window, Liam and Emma were chasing a soccer ball across the lawn. Their laughter reached him muffled and sweet. He turned away and walked down the hallway to the children's bedroom. The door was ajar, a tangle of stuffed animals on the floor. On the nightstand, a photograph in a chipped frame. Liam and Emma last summer, grinning with missing teeth.
I made a promise to them. I intend to keep it.
He set the photograph back with care, his hands steady now. The doubt he'd carried since signing the complaint crumbled. He returned to the window. The children were still playing, blissfully unaware of the machinery of fraud and consequence turning far from their laughter.
They'll never know what I've done, but they'll always be protected.
He leaned down and picked up a single fallen crayon from the floor, placing it on the dresser. A small gesture that felt like an oath. Then he let himself out, locking the door behind him. The complaint was already filed. The second policy was ironclad. He was ready for what came next. Back in his study, Robert's phone rang. The caller ID read Harrison. He answered without preamble.
Mr. Turner, the police have accepted the case. They'll be calling you for a statement.
Good. Thank you, Claire.
He set the receiver down and sat motionless for a full minute. Then he picked it up again. This call would end the pretense. He dialed Andrew's number.
Dad, I was about to call you. Look, about before.
Stop. Listen to me. I know you forged my signature. I reported it. The police are investigating.
You called the police on me? Your own son?
And there's more. That policy you stole, it wasn't the only one. I opened a second policy years ago. The beneficiaries are Liam and Emma. Not you.
Andrew's breath stopped. The line crackled with the weight of every wrong choice. Andrew didn't hang up. He threw the phone onto the passenger seat and drove, the speedometer climbing. The conversation wasn't over. It was just changing venue. The front door burst inward. Andrew filled the hallway, breath ragged, eyes wild. He didn't knock. He had stopped pretending.
You planned this. Years. You had another policy and kept it hidden just to punish me.
I kept it to protect Liam and Emma from exactly this. You punished yourself the moment you forged my name.
Andrew stepped forward, fists clenched at his sides. Robert stood his ground. The air between them crackled.
Who gets it? Who did you name instead of your own son?
Liam and Emma. The only ones who never betrayed me.
Andrew's expression cracked. Shock, then rage, then something colder. His own children. The ones he'd forgotten in his scheme.
When the cops come, I'll tell them you are losing your mind. That you signed it and forgot.
The handwriting analyst already disagrees. Now, get out of my house.
The car's engine faded down the street. Robert stood at the study window, his reflection ghostly in the glass.
He was my son. There was a time.
But the line between grief and resolve had already been crossed. He didn't cry. He simply sat, breathing in the silence.
I buried the father he knew today, but the grandfather is still here.
His eyes drifted to the corner of the room where the fireproof safe sat, untouched. He didn't need to open it. He already knew what was inside. Then he reached for the phone, the one call that would lock the door.
Claire, it's Robert Turner. I need to confirm there will be no delays. Andrew knows.
The police are moving. Nothing can stop it now. Are you prepared for what that means?
I've been prepared for 8 years.
He set the phone down gently. The investigation had its own momentum. Outside, dusk bled into night, but Robert didn't turn on the lamp. He just sat in the half-dark and waited. 2 days later, a new letter arrived on the same heavy stationery. Robert opened it without ceremony. Policy reinstatement confirmed. Cash value restored.
Mr. Turner, I wanted to tell you personally. The bank transfer is already processing, and the police are ready to move.
How soon?
Within 24 hours. They have the forgery evidence, the bank records, your sworn statement. It's enough for felony charges.
24 hours. After all these years, it comes down to a single day. Thank you, Claire. Tell the detective I'll provide whatever else they need.
Across town, a detective typed the final addendum to the case file. The words Andrew Turner, forgery and fraud appeared on the screen. Robert's phone rang again. This time, a number he didn't recognize. A detective's voice, measured and direct.
Yes, that's correct. I never authorized the surrender. I'll sign a statement under oath.
When the call ended, Robert sat motionless. The clock on his desk ticked. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wailed, or maybe he imagined it. The net was drawn. Andrew sat in a gray box of a room, the metal chair cold beneath him. Across the table, a detective placed a folder and waited.
Like I said, my dad gave me permission. He's old, probably forgot.
The detective flipped open the folder. 2 sheets slid across the table, the forged form and a genuine signature.
They have the comparison. They already know. All right. Maybe I signed it, but I was just borrowing. I was going to pay him back.
Then the banking records appeared. The cash had vanished into personal accounts, into credit card debt, into nothing Andrew could explain. Andrew's hand trembled on the table. The room felt smaller.
They're going to charge me. This is really happening. I want a lawyer.
An hour later, Andrew was allowed to leave, but the detective's final words followed him out. "We'll be in touch, Mr. Turner." The net was no longer just closing. It had already found its mark. The next afternoon, Robert heard a car door slam, then a second, then a child's laugh. He opened the door to find Andrew, Liam, and Emma standing on his porch.
Dad, the kids wanted to see you, I thought. Maybe we could all sit down. Put this behind us.
You brought them here to twist my arm. Liam, Emma, go wait in the car.
The children hesitated, their small faces uncertain. Andrew opened his mouth, but Robert's glare cut him off.
For them, Dad. Just drop it. I'll pay everything back. I swear.
Using your own children as a shield is the lowest thing you've ever done, and it won't work.
Andrew's mask slipped. The desperation hardened into something uglier, but he had no words left.
Take the children home, Andrew. Now.
Andrew turned, herding Liam and Emma back toward the car. They glanced over their shoulders, not understanding, but Robert's expression told them everything they needed to know. Robert closed the door and leaned against it. His heart ached for the grandchildren, but his will was iron. The case would continue. The next morning, Robert sat before his laptop, the camera light blinking red. He spoke without hesitation, each word deliberate.
I, Robert Turner, state under penalty of perjury that I did not sign or authorize the surrender of my policy. The signature is a forgery.
When he finished, he retrieved the second policy from the fireproof safe and scanned every page.
Mr. Turner, I've forwarded the second policy documents. Our legal team confirms it's completely separate. Andrew has no claim, no access.
And the beneficiaries. Liam and Emma are untouchable.
Completely. The policy has been flagged. Not even a court order could redirect those benefits.
That's the sound of a door locking.
By mid-afternoon, the detective's email appeared. Charges would be filed by end of week. The case was airtight.
8 years of silence, worth every second.
Robert closed the laptop and leaned back. The second policy was inviolable. The law would handle the rest. 1 week later, the charges were filed. Felony forgery, felony fraud. The arrest warrant followed within hours.
This is it. They actually did it.
The next day, his employer sent security to escort him out. A box of personal effects, a pension in question, and a career on fire. Andrew's face was pale as he walked past the rows of cubicles. No one met his eyes. The apartment grew quiet. Mail piled up. His phone stopped buzzing with anything but bad news and collection notices. Robert received a brief call from the prosecutor. The evidence was overwhelming. A plea might get Andrew 3 years. A trial could bring 7.
Then, let him plead. He can choose what he faces.
3 years. For a mistake. He really destroyed me.
The walls of Andrew's world had collapsed inward, and for the first time, there was no one left to blame but himself. The police station hummed with business as usual. But on the docket, the case of People v. Andrew Turner was set for arraignment. The son had become a defendant. The knock was quiet this time. When Robert opened the door, Andrew looked like a man who'd been carrying his own weight uphill for miles.
You win, Dad. Happy now?
This was never about winning.
Then what? You could have let me pay it back, but you had to teach me a lesson.
I taught you nothing. You taught yourself. I just refused to cover for you any longer.
Andrew stepped inside, but Robert didn't move. The distance between them was no longer measured in feet.
The grandkids. They'll grow up knowing their father is a criminal because of you.
Number. They'll grow up knowing their grandfather protected them from a man who couldn't control his own greed.
Andrew's face crumpled, but no tears came. He'd spent them all in the empty apartment. He turned and walked back to his car, the door closing with a click that sounded like a door locking forever. He walked into the bank with the reinstated check in hand. No fanfare, just a transaction that would outlast him.
They'll never know how close this came, but they will know their education was secured.
Back home, he placed the trust confirmations on the desk beside the photograph of Liam and Emma. Then he opened the fireproof safe. Behind the ledgers, the second policy's first statement, untouched, exactly where he'd left it.
8 years. This piece of paper waited longer than Andrew's lies lasted.
He carried the statement to the desk and laid it beside an empty black frame, the glass catching the lamplight. With deliberate care, he slid the document into the frame and pressed the backing shut. The sound was final. He lifted the frame to eye level. The words Liam and Emma stared back, permanent and untouchable.
Now everyone will see what I built in silence.
Robert carried the frame to the wall, his hands steady. Tomorrow he would hang it. Tonight, he just wanted to see it standing. The next morning, sunlight painted a path across the study floor. Robert lifted the freshly framed document from his desk. He positioned it against the wall, right above the bookshelf, exactly where he'd marked the studs. The hammer fell. A nail bit into the wall. 2 strikes, and the weight was borne. He stepped back. The frame caught the morning light, and the names Liam and Emma were now a permanent part of the wall. The beneficiaries line read, Liam Turner and Emma Turner. No asterisk. No exception. As afternoon bled into evening, Robert remained in his chair, watching the frame.
No one will take this from them. No one.
The second policy was no longer a secret. It was a testament. Robert allowed himself a cold half-smile. Not victory. Foresight. That night, sleep came without a fight for the first time in weeks. The house breathed in silence. A week later, an afternoon sun slanted through the study. Robert's phone buzzed with a message from his daughter-in-law. The kids are asking for Grandpa. We're on our way. He set the phone down and glanced at the framed policy on the wall. Then he rose and pulled on his charcoal quarter zip. The car pulled into the driveway. 2 small bodies tumbled out before the engine cut, their laughter reaching the front door. Robert opened the door and dropped to one knee. The children barreled into him, their small arms wrapping around his neck. No questions about their father, no mention of the past, just the warmth of grandchildren who knew only that they were loved. Robert looked past them to the driveway. No second car. No Andrew.
Good.
He led them inside, their chatter filling the hallway that had been silent for too long. The study door stood open, the framed policy visible on the wall. But the children didn't notice. They were too busy pulling Robert toward the kitchen, asking for cookies. For the first time in months, Robert laughed. After the cookies were gone, Liam and Emma burst through the back door, chasing each other across the lawn. Robert stood at the study window, his hands resting on the sill, watching them. The framed policy statement hung behind him, its glass reflecting the late sun.
They are safe. That's all that matters.
He allowed himself a cold half-smile, not of victory, but of quiet certainty. The sound of their laughter filled the yard untouched by the conflict that had raged. The second policy was no longer a document. It was a promise kept. Robert turned from the window. The study door stood open, and the light from the hallway seemed to reach toward the wall. He didn't need to lock anything anymore. What mattered was already protected. In a world of people who take, Robert had built something that would give long after he was gone, and that was enough.